So you may remember from my other video I was talking about oregano and how it was coming back, and it was little bitty before, and see how big it's getting. So what I'm going to do is start snipping it, because as you snip, more will grow. So I'm going to start snipping it, and I'm going to start drying it to have dried oregano spice instead of having to buy it. So what I'm basically doing is I'm picking kind of the thicker stalks that are in the bush. So you can kind of just kind of peek in and look for the thicker stalks, the longer stalks, the tallest stalks. So I'm just going to kind of pick here. I kind of picked most of the thick ones out of this one. And I'm just going to snip it down towards the base. And I've actually never dried oregano. I've always just used it fresh. So I'm just going to pick a great big old handful, and then I'm going to show you how to dry it so that you can have your own oregano spice and not have to go to the store. So we'll be right back. Okay, so here's the second part. You've got your bunches of oregano. Now there are two ways to dry. You can hang them and let them sit for a week in a cool, dark location, or you can quick dry them like I'm going to do. So what you need to do is set your oven at its lowest temperature, which for my oven is 200 degrees. Then while that's warming up, I'm going to lay my oregano, stalks and all, on my tray. And I might have to get another one because you don't really want them to overlap too much. Okay? So I'm just going to lay them out here. It smells so good. I'm going to continue to do this, and I usually let my oven heat up for about 5 minutes when I'm going to use it. And then the next thing that you're going to do is, once the oven has completely heated, you're going to turn it off, and you're going to put your oregano in there and leave the door slightly cracked, so that way you've got the hot air in there, plus you've got air moving through and circulating. And you're just going to leave it until the oven is completely cool. Okay? I'm trying to get all this on one thing, but I really don't want to overlay too much here. I think I can manage to get all this here laid out. Okay, so I got them all laid out here. So like I said, what I'm going to do now is wait for my oven to heat up. Then I'm going to turn it off, put this in on the middle rack, and then I'm going to just let the oven naturally cool by leaving the door ajar. So I've got the heat plus the cool air, and that's going to dry these out. And then I'll be back in a little bit to show you what that looks like. Okay, so I'm back and it's day 2. I ended up having to actually run this through the process twice. So I had to, once the oven had cooled, it was still just a little bit soft. So I heated the oven back up again for 10 minutes at 200 degrees, which is my lowest setting on my oven, and then turned it off and left them in there. So now they're pretty crunchy. So what I'm going to do is, I have an oregano jar from when I bought some spices at the grocery store. And I'm going to now take all these leaves off of the stems and just put them on the tray. And I'm going to continue to do this for the entire thing. And it might even be easier just to, just pull it right off the stem. So I'm going to go through that, pull them off the stem. Might be easier to go this way. So hold it upright so that the leaves are facing up, and then just kind of grab and pull down I'm going to continue to do this, and I'm going to crush it up. I'm going to put it in this bottle. So one more time, I'm going to go do this, and then I'll be right back. Okay? Okay, so I'm back. And I have allergies, so I'm going to try and do this without having to get up and wash my hands again. Okay, so you can see, here's all my little oregano twigs. I took all the leaves off, and it's pretty dry and crunchy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of crush it in my hands and get it nice and small. And then I'm going to put it in this jar. So I'm going to tell you a little story while I'm doing this. I was working on a gardening project this weekend that you will see very soon because I'm doing a video and a blog about it. Well, my husband set this rat trap in front of our chicken coop because we keep getting these rats that come around even though my coop is sealed and the chicken feed is up off the ground and a hanging thing and all that. And I don't feed my chickens chicken scraps, so there's no reason really for the rats to come around, but we have a porter that lives across the street over there. So they kind of come around, I guess, because they can smell the food. So my husband set this rat trap in front of the door. This rat decided to set a trap for me. He not only moved the rat trap into the middle of the yard, but managed to do that without setting it off, and he ate the peanut butter off it. So I'm walking backwards into the yard, unrolling this new hose that I have for this project that I'm working on, and I step on it. And the words that wanted to come out of my mouth were not very good. Needless to say, I'm pretty sure my pinky toe is broken. I can walk on it now, but it hurts while I'm walking on it. It slammed across my pinky toe on the bridge of my foot, and I worked through it and did my project, but it was not fun. And my toe still hurts to the point where I have to take ibuprofen at night. But it's my little toe, and you know, I'm not going to go get an x-ray because there's nothing they could do with it. They would just tape it to my other toe and, you know, maybe give me a cane and then charge me an obscene amount of money and tell me my insurance won't cover it. So that's what happened to me on Saturday, and had to work through Mother's Day with that. So, anyway, it doesn't have to be totally crunchy like you know how you see it in the store, because, you know, this is fresh. It's from my garden, and I don't mind bigger pieces. But you can see now, I pretty much got this kind of crunchy the way I want it. And this is exciting because I've always read about this and bookmarked a lot of articles on it, but I never actually did it myself. And I figured, because I would always just use my oregano fresh out of the garden, just cut it up and throw it in whatever I'm cooking. So I wanted to have some dried and not have to pay $4 for a jar. So here it is. So now, I'm just going to take it, put it in my jar. This is so cool. Homesteading is so much fun. I love being self-sufficient. The fact that this is oregano that was in my yard, that bloomed from last year. Oregano is a perennial. You might have seen that in my other video. I learned that by mistake too. So look at that. I have about a half a jar. And I have plenty more oregano out there, so as this runs out, I'll just dry it out in the oven and, my own oregano. So there you have it, garden gals and guys. Happy gardening.